Assemblywoman Markey will now address us.
Thank you. I want to thank Cardozo School of Law of Yeshiva University for bringing us together today. I also want to acknowledge the important work that Professor Marcy Hamilton has done across the country on this subject, and thank her for joining us and helping us focus on this very important issue. I am pleased to see speakers from survivor advocacy support organizations adding their important testimony to this presentation. And it goes to be, that does not have to be said, that the remarks that have been made to this point are very touching and moving, and anything that I can say is probably going not to be as moving, as important as we've heard so far. The voices of these three underscore the urgent need to bring about a change in the law that we may provide a small level of justice to victims of childhood sexual assault. It is a special honor to be here with Senator Karen Peterson today. I hope our own New York State Senate will take her inspiration, and we will be able to replicate what she has done in Delaware. It has been truly a wonderful win for victims' rights. We have come together today to call your attention to the urgent need for New York to join the circle of enlightened states that are prepared to act against perpetrators of childhood sexual abuse. Sex crimes, particularly those committed against children, are among the most heinous and deeply disturbing in our society. They leave lifelong scars and have multiple victims. As the general public becomes more and more aware of the terrible human tragedy at the root of this issue, the state legislature has recognized how important it is for victims of sexual assault to have the opportunity to get justice for the wrongs that have been done to them. Many victims of these horrific crimes never received their day in court. They were shut off from justice because of the statute of limitation provisions in our law. At present, the New York State law enables predators to avoid the consequences of their crimes. It unreasonably shields them from the criminal prosecution and civil action. And worse, our present laws permit abusers to continue their predatory actions and assault new victims. 3 years ago, I introduced a bill in the New York State Assembly to change that. My bill would extend the statute of limitations for bringing charges against abusers. Victims deserve their day in court. Because of the young age of those who abused and the position of authority most abusers have over their victims, the window of time to bring charges under the present law is far too restrictive. Under current law, the criminal statute of limitations in child sex abuse cases, where the victim does not report it to law enforcement, is not applied until the victim reaches the age of 18. We think that is too young. My bill, the statute of limitations period, would be the age of 23. It also calls for a similar extension in the civil statute of limitations. These changes would give the child victim at least to the age of 28 to seek prosecution or civil redress. One other important provision of my Assembly bill, just like the one that became law in California and Delaware, is the creation of a one-year window in civil statute limitations provisions. And that is something I will not give up in any form of negotiation. This provides 1 year from the effective date of the law, where the victims of any age would be able to seek damages for past instances of child abuse. This important provision will enable many older victims to get the justice they have previously been denied under the current restrictive law. My legislation has been adopted in the Assembly 3 times. First in 2005, again in 2006, and once again this year during the 2007 session. Unfortunately, the companion bill in the State Senate 4614A, sponsored by Senator Stephen Sillane, did not even come out of the Senate Codes Committee this year. As we prepare for the new session of the legislature, I am pleased to report that support is building around the state for my bill. 8 current district attorneys have declared their support, as well as the New York State Coalition Against Sexual Assault, the Crime Victims Bar Association, and many grassroots organizations, including Voice of the Faithful and SNAP. Thanks to the continuing strong support of Speaker Sheldon Silver and Assemblyman Joe Lentoul, my colleague who chairs the Codes Committee, we will fast-track the passage of this bill in the Assembly in January. Then we will concentrate on getting it adopted by the Senate. 3 new senators have already signed on as co-sponsors for the 2008 session, and I am confident that there will be many more as we get closer to session. To help ensure that legislation is enacted by the state Senate, we need everybody in this room, the media, the legal and justice communities, and interested citizens, to reach out to your local senator to urge that they support Senator Sillane's bill. To ensure the bill is signed into law, I am now working with the governor's staff to enlist Governor Spitzer's support for this legislation. We want him to make this one of his 2008 legislative priorities. We hope, one hopeful sign for our success in 2008 was the passage of the Pauline Skelios legislation that was signed into law last year. It eliminated the statute of limitations in first-degree rape, child abuse, and sexual assault cases. Passage of this law sets an important precedent for the legislation that we seek to enact this year. We have a fundamental obligation to ensure that those in a position of authority over children, teachers, clergy, youth workers, even family members, are ethical, compassionate, and trustworthy. Equally, we have a responsibility to the past and future generations of children to ensure that predators are identified, stopped, and punished. Why this legislation? Because it is the right thing to do. Thank you.